look at the shape Michael Murphy got himself into for the season. Hugh McFadden as well. Like a lot of people would have thought maybe his best days was over. Far from it. He had a great 25. So yeah, I was very, very shocked that he didn't start yesterday.
Yeah. And Barry, what did you think about that? Because I know, listen, hindsight's great and all that there, but see the aerial battle out there. You know, when you look at the O'Connor and O'Shea and everybody's in, there was a real battle element to Kerry. Now Hugh's a battler. Did we miss that battle then out round the middle? Because Keelan isn't really a fetcher, you know. It's more like Keelan hasn't played midfield, I don't think, under Jim before. I can't think of any time anyway. It seemed like, but obviously from training, Jim must have said that was the right move. But it turned out for me, I thought we could have done with Hugh on the pitch.
Yeah, and the more so, listen, hindsight is a great thing, and we spoke briefly downstairs about this, but I just felt when you were looking out onto the field and you seen the way they set up, with Hugh not there, we were so used to being there and him there for one half and Jason McGee there for the second half, but I just felt we were that just one big physical man short for the kickouts in the first half, you know, that we couldn't cover all the bases that Kerry had, or all the aces that Kerry had, so, and we just couldn't, and it's the old saying, if you don't have the ball, you know, you are going to struggle. We just couldn't get that foothold, we just couldn't get our hands on the ball. Listen, in fairness to Hugh, came in the second half, Jason McGee came in the second half, we did get a better foothold, but you know, maybe at that stage then we were putting out fires as opposed to maybe really looking after the game.
And Kieran, in terms of the effect of that, particularly Gavin White early on, you know, Breen as well, the Bubliak, were we sitting a wee bit like inviting them on? Was that a dangerous play with Kerry? You know, no, it had served us well and it's got us where we needed to go, but it definitely didn't seem the right, because I think with Donegal, when you talk about 2-point threats, we seemed to be in a zone where the 2-point was on, whereas when we went down the other end, Kerry had us outside of the scoring area at all, so they were tagging us before we even got into a position where we could kick, and every man was responsible. So is that something, I suppose, that we'll learn from that? And listen, there's nobody better than Jim to rejig things, but what was serving you? People keep talking to me about this, but I was like, listen, this is what's serving Donegal, this is what's getting us where we need to go. But, you know, compared to last year, I think we left Galway and we're like, we probably need a player or two to come in. You know, it's a very different feeling from this one, Kieran.
Yes, there was no disrespect to the standard opposition we played, but Kerry are like the All-Ireland finals, like, you know what I mean? And the standard opposition that we played, in terms of driving forward, Kerry had all the answers yesterday. You look at Kieran Moore, he wasn't the same yesterday as he was in the past. And speaking of Gavin White, himself and Paddy Clifford, were they involved in every Kerry score yesterday? Paddy Clifford was involved in every score, and Gavin White, man of the match, and deservingly so.
Yeah, and Barry, did you think that was a thing? Because I couldn't see how people were talking about your man Mark. If you look at the Tyrone scenario, we got into the semi-final, obviously, they man Mark, Sean O'Shea and Paddy Clifford, and he took them out of the game, but then David was isolated in Hamsey and he destroyed Tyrone. You know, was that something that when you look back at it now, should we have went after, particularly after Paddy, because as you said, but then I think the zonal was inviting on the half forward line, but as Kieran was saying, we don't go all the way, we stick to what we know, but Kerry were happy enough with that. They seem to be happy to pick us apart.
Yeah, well, listen, when you're talking about the two Cliffords, Paddy and David, outstanding footballers, you know, and then you had Sean O'Shea, and you had Dylan Quay as well.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, all over the field, Joe O'Connor, I think they had so many players. When you think he had one or two of them done, I thought Brendan McCall done well on David Clifford. You know, he kept them away with it. But listen, when you can get a guy who had 3 2-pointers, and for the vast majority of them, he's actually running away from the goal. Do you know what I mean? He can kick them scores.
The other thing about it, I noticed about the 2-pointers yesterday, Barry, whatever it was, they were right on the bloody line. They just seemed to have timed it perfectly. And I think for someone like Clifford, shooting from the edge of that arc, that's not hard. No. Barry, for us boys, it would be difficult. I know you had a good left foot. But
the penalty spot, anything other further from the penalty spot,
and pass it back to somebody else.
Yeah. But no, listen, to be fair, I just, you know, there's a lot, as again, hindsight's a great thing, and could we have done different things, and everybody's coming down the road in the car, and we should have done this, we should have done that. Listen, we done what we done, and in fairness, it just didn't work out. And I think everybody can hold their hand up and just say, yesterday on the day, Kerry were just a better team, and it wasn't an individual mistake, it wasn't a case that somebody missed a free, it wasn't a case, just as a collective, we weren't just, you know, Kerry were a better team. So
yeah. Do you agree with that, Kieran? Is it one of them things where I think as Donegal fans coming down the road, listen, we're so proud of the boys, it's been a remarkable season, But you know, so many of our players were hitting us up on the high marks. Was that Kerry yesterday, Kieran? Which honestly, when I looked at that team early on, and what happened in the last few games, when we were up against it, think about Monaghan when we went in the scoring spree. When we went in the scoring spree against Meath, the players in the pitch actually energised the crowd, and then it was a back and forth. You could feel this boy lift. Now, when we hit the 4 points in a row that time and took them back, the crowd started to get really behind the team, but we never seemed to have that big moment, like the 2-point or a goal, which we needed. It didn't seem to be common. I just couldn't. And again, I keep thinking, I can't see how we weren't as sharp as we needed to be. I can only think a bit of fatigue, and Kieran mentioned as we needed to be. I can only think a bit of fatigue, and Kieran mentioned it there. You know, you could win All Ireland in 5 games or 7 games. Like how many? I'm sorry, my maths ain't working too well. That's after a couple of late nights at Dublin. Swiss fatigue. But listen, Barry, you could. This is like back-to-back seasons in one, and sandwiched as well. And you know the lads is coming down here now. I mean, it's such a commitment that they've given. But listen, Kerry didn't have that path, Barry. You know, and.
Listen, and you hit the nail on the head. There's 11 championship matches. You know, there's really good inter-county players play for Donegal and maybe have 10 or 15 championship matches in their career. You know, so if you put that into perspective, and the old money when there was no back door. So yeah, hey, listen, fatigue was probably, but I don't think the boys would use that as an excuse.
No, I get you.
You know, I think it was just a case of Kerry started the game really well, and they got energy and oxygen from that. And just Donegal weren't able to. And on that point, I don't think they got them. I think Donegal back to 4 points 3 times, and it was a big thing that we get. You know, just get over that. Get within 3 or 2 points of them, and the crowd would really try to energise. But unfortunately, we just couldn't get there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't. Joe, we have a few words from our manager, the main man, Jimmy McGuinness. Here, we'll play a wee clip for you now.
Where we got rattled was in possession ourselves. You know, we give the ball away at times today where it's very uncharacteristic, you know. And against Kerry, you know, you can't do that. You know, they keep the ball very well. Paddy Clifford is almost press resistant. It's very, very difficult to get heat on him. He's physically strong, controls the game, protects the ball very well, you know, and obviously plays very well with his brother, you know. So no, listen, sometimes in life you've got to put your hands up and you've got to take it on the chin, and today is one of those days, unfortunately for us. There's a huge amount of good work going on in Donegal. There's massive amounts of work going on behind the scenes in terms of the academy and trying to build teams and trying to put our younger lads in a position where they can experience days like this more often, if you like. And that work has to continue, and the work with the players has to continue in the dressing room there as well, you know. But no, listen, today is not the day for that, you know. We have to reflect today. We've got to take it on the chin, and we've got to also tip our hat to Kerry. You know, Kerry were brilliant today. They played really, really well for long periods of that game, and even though we did get into situations where we felt we might get a bit of traction, that never really materialised. So yeah, we have to take it on the chin. I don't know, was it 6 or 7 scorers we had? You know, I think we've been 12 in the last 2 games. So there's things in that. You know, why did we not get the same traction in terms of the threats all over the pitch? And different people popping up at different times, you know, so that's all things that probably would come into the mix, you know. Kerry had a very aggressive press on. We were trying to do the same. They won a lot of breaking ball. You know, we would pride ourselves in that aspect of it. They won a huge amount of breaking ball. Gavin White in particular won a huge amount of breaking ball. So yeah, every possession was crucial. Getting hands on the ball from our own kick out, crucial. You know, both kickouts and turnovers, that's what shapes attacks, and we didn't get enough. And started the second half, we might have won the first 3 or 4 kickouts in a row, and again you're building that momentum. But it's about keeping it going and keeping the scoreboard ticking, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that. They've put a massive shift in. They've given it their absolutely all from the beginning of the year. They're very, very good group to work with, very dedicated, very focused on what they want to do. Today's not a good day for us, today's not a good day for the group, and it's not a good day, you know, in terms of what we wanted to achieve, and very, very disappointed for the people of Donegal that it didn't work out. They were here in their droves today and didn't get the performance either, you know, which is disappointing. But as I said earlier, we have to take that on the chin. I said to the players in the dressing room, it's not a game you should think about for a long time. You know, we didn't deserve to win the game. That's the reality of it. We didn't do enough to win the game, and so you have to let it slide. You have to sometimes you just have to let performances slide, and this is one of them. I suppose no more than the Cork hurlers. There'll be a fairly heavy post-mortem after this one, you know, and we'll go away, we'll think about the game, we'll reflect on the game. You try to get as many things right as you can, and sometimes you just have to take your hat off and say the better team won, and we made too many mistakes to win the game. Just make peace with that, and I think over the coming weeks, those types of conversations will probably start.
Yeah, that was Jim McGuinness there. And listen, folks, what can we say? Magnanimous in defeat. And listen, Jim, I suppose in terms of the changing nature of the whole game of football, you know, I was chatting to Kerry people before the game yesterday doing previews, and, you know, Kerry believe they can win All Irelands. Every Kerry player believes that, and it's very often, very, very rare in Donegal times that we believe that. And to me, when Jim comes in, we believe. That's why we went up the road with such high hopes yesterday. In fairness to him, as he said, you know, you got to take this on the chin and move on. Something interesting you just mentioned there, Barry, before I let you go. The 7-point scores, 7 different scores. The last time that happened, this was against Tyrone in that game in Ballybofey. Was this like that? Is there so many games you're going to have a dip performance? Maybe was that it in terms of our guys, because as we were saying previously, you know, you can handle defeats if you play well. Just say, listen, the best team beat us. But I'm sure Kerry were actually expecting more from our guys yesterday. Is that the kind of hard Kerry were actually expecting coming down now?
Yeah, I would say so. Listen, any player will tell you that it's one thing getting beat, but when you don't perform, it's a totally other. And I would say a lot of them Donegal players feel they didn't perform the way they could. But you know, I think you just have to look at Kerry and in this instance and look at the players that they had and the form that they were in and the intensity that they took into the game. And you know, we just keep coming back to it that they got that start and it just they fed off that for the whole game, you know. But hey, all credit to our boys. You know, they give us such a summer. You know, and the buzz that was around here this last 2 weeks and around the whole county, you going from town to town, it was incredible. It's going to be hard now to think over the next few weeks it's going to die down again. All the bunting's going to have to come down again. You get so used to looking at it, you know, and it's around it, just part of the decor of all the towns and villages.
The blue and white will be up for Masters, will be in the county final soon.
I know, easy on that. Blue and white Atlantis, you mean now?
Hey, tell you, look out for these 4 Masters, boys. They're winning rings around them. What's going on here? I'm getting afraid. What about Kilcar? You must be afraid.
There's huge work at 4 Masters, Brenton. They've been to every county final from 1 to 12 the whole way up, and they're certainly knocking on the door. And if you knock on the door enough, you're going to bang it down. And I think it's only a matter of time.
They're coming with a sledgehammer now.
This is an ambush. This is definitely an ambush. I wasn't told about this when I was coming
I'll
up here.
The 4 Masters boys will be back. There'll be no stopping you, I think, shortly. I'm glad I'm finished up playing this point, Kieran.
Well, Brenton, I suppose back in the day, 4 Masters, won finals, you were playing for St. Jude's at the time as well. And I do feel the population of 4 Masters, it was always only a matter of time, but they deserve great praise.
He's saying, you see, we town Kilcar, you are too bad. No, that's what he's throwing at you now.
Great work at 4 Masters over the last number of years, Ulster minor club finals. And
no, in fairness, listen, you know, the fact of the matter is 4 Masters have had a very good underage system, but the thing about it is, and I think everybody, getting the players from 16, 17, 18 to 21, 22, 23, I think that's a challenge, and it's a challenge for our club now to get them boys that have proved so successful in underage to get to that level. So don't be bigging us up yet there.
No, I'm getting afraid. Listen, gentlemen on the pitch, we've got a few people. Give Barry Monaghan a wee round of applause, will you?
Very much.
A few people have wandered in here to have the crack with us. Thanks very much for checking in. Barry's going to drop off there. Good to see you, pal. Gentleman on and off the pitch. Never ever a bad word in his mouth. Even when he was winning championships for 4 Masters. We were actually joined by a bit of GA royalty now. Kieran Cannon, you take it up because the man to your left, I tell you what, talk about joined by a bit of GA royalty now. Kieran Cannon, you take it up because the man to your left, I tell you what, talk about supporters.
Senior.
Well, my first game, played for Man in the first round. That was my first game ever to see the county team play.
And do you remember the expectation?
No, I did not. Now, I was only 10 years of age at the time, and 10 years of age in 1963, like you know, it's different than being 10 years of age now. You know?
Lots of people I'll know you attending games, but it's not just games you attend. You also attend training sessions. will
Oh,
that be right?
training sessions. Well, one time you used to be able to get in to see them, but I'll tell you, it's hard to get through the wall now.
Yeah, but surely you would get in.
That's
You
right.
of all people, I would trust this man all the way.
Talk to me, Edmund, about your feelings, and you put your feelings into words 24 hours later. Obviously disappointed, but how proud are you of Jim McGuinness and his Chargers?
Oh, I'm very proud, like, and it's great.
Are you of Jim McGuinness and his Chargers?
Oh, I'm very proud, like, and it's great to see that the big crowds arriving here this evening, because it's well deserved. I know we didn't play well on the day, but sure, them kind of days come, and Kerry were the better team, and they started off the throw-in, like they set the tone for the game as far as I could see from the very start. Now, what a whole lot of people don't know, I was looking at a bit up on Facebook there this morning at 7. We're 7 minutes into the game, right? Michael Murphy takes a free, puts it over the bar. It's 4 to Kerry and it's 3 Donegal, right? This is 7 minutes. And the 17th minute, the score was Kerry 13, Donegal 4. So in that 10-minute period, we scored 1, Kerry scored 9, and we were chasing the game from there on. And we probably needed 2-pointers, and we probably needed a goal, and we never created a goal chance, for the rest of the game. We kept plugging away, and we got it down to 4. But probably at that stage, we needed something to raise the crowd again with maybe a 2-pointer and take it down to 2. But Kerry were always seemed to be able to get up the field and get
Critical period.
critical period, say, But I've seen a lot of bad days in my time.
That's it. Don't be bringing them up now, because I'm involved in a lot of them. Just leave it out. I'm a wee bit sensitive after a couple of big nights in Dublin.
Yeah.
Don't be good on them one now, Evan. Evan, listen. See, in terms of nostalgia, you've seen it all. I remember years ago we were playing this game just after Christmas, one of them games you didn't want to play in, but you had to go, and we were in the back end of nowhere.
I'll tell you where we were. You talked about it the last night. You were wrong. Hey, it was in a place called Glansk. In the County Galway. And it was played, I think, on a Sunday morning. Myself and the wife stayed in Castlebar the night before.
What kind of form was Brenton on a Sunday morning?
And I travelled down, and I had to get directions to this place, Glansk. And I think we were playing a challenge match against Tralee IT. I think it was Tralee IT we were playing. And there was wild bad frost around that time, and it was very hard to get a pitch, but this is where we got the pitch anyway. We got a pitch to play in.
And you'd no trouble finding out that's where the game was?
We got lost anyway. So we didn't know where the pitch was, because it was one of we're in a big coach, and it was enough room for the coach to get down this road. So eventually we found the pitch. Who's there waiting? The buck. He's there. He's done a goal hat on.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you now, that morning, hey, I didn't even know when I went to a fella's pub, Seamus hidden down the hatch in Roscommon Town. Seamus played in an All-Ireland final in 1980 at Centrefield. And I went in there, and I had to get directions off them in the pub to go to this place in Glansk. It wasn't that far from Roscommon Town now,
Yes. Listen, fair play. That's a real fan.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but see the All Irelands, obviously, the 4, your memories of them, like, of course, the brilliance of 92 and Indy 2012 and that, they're unbelievable moments. I mean, you were there a couple of weeks, and even in D2 the last night, all the people home from Australia and America, and it's really brought Donegal together.
Well, I'll tell you, just coming down the road there, I met a fella, and I didn't even know him, and I went to national school along with him. He's John McGinley from a place called up by Crow, and he's home from England. I didn't even know me to tell me who he was. So that like there's a lot of people home, and there's a lot of people gathering here now. And
I thought you were going to say you were at college there, but it was national school.
Oh, national school. I never went to college.
You weren't,
No,
you weren't at Trinity or anything, studying
the
philosophy?
Donegal Town was the best. Well, the first year I was in the Tech. The Tech won the county championship, but I wasn't on the team.
Yes.
I was better at chatting about football now than playing it.
You're going not too bad now. But I'll tell you, listen, the team are now in Pettigo.
I used to gather up programs and stuff like that. Even away back in the 60s when I was small at Colhay at school. I used to cut photographs of Mickey McAloon and John Hannigan and all them and put them into books and all that kind of thing. You know,
Brilliant.
And I'll tell you another story about going to Crow Park.
Go ahead.
I went to Crow Park in 1965 with Daddy. Donegal was in the National League semi-final. We wound up with Terence McGinley. This man would know who Terence McGinley was. At that time, I used to go in along with my father and to the games, and he used to take me in along with him, you know. But when we went up to Crow Park that day for the National League semi-final 65, I had to go into a different, because it was turnstiles, and I had to go in. And then I thought that I was going to be lost, DC, when I get to the other side of the thing, and I started to cry.
I'm the bit of you getting lost.
I started to cry outside Crow Park. But anyway, they got me in and got me over, and once I met up with Daddy then on the other side, then it was grand. You know, that's now a wee story there for 1965. And I'll tell you another thing about 65. I have a photograph of the team on my phone. Shea Given's father was a sub that day.
That's right.
And another fellow was playing that day, he's dead now, Hughie Travers, who's from Donegal town, he was playing the full back line.
There you go, kid. There you go.
Now,
Kieran, you're going to jump on me one before we go to a break?
Speaking of Donegal, in the progression of clubs, we've people here from Carndonagh tonight.
Carndonagh.
One of the finest this season.
Conor Donald, man of the match yesterday, was he? Conor Donald, man of the match.
And the Buncrana Cup, I remember him playing.
How impressed are you from the season, Edmund?
Yeah, and I would say that Carndonagh would be one of the clubs that would be favourites to win the County Junior Championship. Not alone the County Junior Championship, I'm hoping that maybe if they do win it, they could go on and emulate what Muff have done and won the Ulster Junior Championship. Now,
there you are. Mighty stuff.
That's coming from an Eve Oldham man.
He's playing to the crowd now, I'll tell you that. 100%.
Yeah.
Listen, Emmett, you're an absolute star. Thanks for coming up and talking to us.
I hope I spoke all right.
You spoke great too. We're lucky to have you. Right, folks, the team's about 20 minutes away. They're about to come in. The anticipation's building here. We're in the Quay West, Donegal town, overlooking the pier, folks. And listen, we're proud of these boys. You're going to come back. They'll get a hero's welcome, no doubt. And we'll speak to you after this break.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
The Chadwick Summer Sale is now on across 37 branches nationwide. Save €100 on the DeWalt 18-volt brushless combi drill, now an incredible €329. Save €160 on the Kerry Cool Touch diverter shower, only €189. Pro Plus Classic push petrol mower, now only €199. Plus loads more savings in doors and floors, paint, garden accessories, bathroom products and DIY. Visit your local branch or shop online at chadwicks.ie. Chadwicks.
Let's get it done! Half-price broadband is still on in the Virgin Media Playhouse. We're extending a half-price offer on all our broadband speeds. That's lightning-fast connection from just €35 a month, locked in for 12 months with no activation fee. Why wait? Enjoy speeds from 500 megs to 5 gigs right now. All for half price. Available nationwide. See virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media. It's playtime.
Subject to location and availability. New customers only, €35 per month for 12 months for 500 meg broadband. Half price on 12-month broadband contracts only and based on after-offer prices for all speeds. Offer ends August 13th. T's and C's apply. See virginmedia.ie.
Ireland, this is your broadband wake-up call. Over 275,000 people are waking up to Vodafone Fibre broadband, now for just €25 a month. So stop snoozing on award-winning broadband. Switching is easy at Vodafone.ie.
Subject to eligibility, signing up to our €40 per month broadband package, €15 discount applied for first 6 months, an annual price increase of $3.50 each April. 24-month contract applies. For terms, see Vodafone.ie.
Change is the only constant in business. So whether you're starting or growing your business, our dedicated business teams will always be here to support you every step of the way. Because the best businesses never stop beginning. Search Bank of Ireland Business. Bank of Ireland. Begin. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Highland Radio.
Regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Right, folks, the time is 7:38. We are anticipating the homecoming here of our Donegal squad, the heroes that we sent up the road to do battle in the All-Ireland final. And unfortunately, we came up short. But nevertheless, to say these guys... Listen, what they've put in, what they've done this season, we've talked about the games and the commitment, and just as a full-time job. And listen, so proud of the guys and everything that they've done. Now, we're shooting the breeze here. I'm lucky to say I'm joined by a couple of the Kellahan family here. Connor's here and his dad, Darky, Paul Kellahan, otherwise known as Darky. Karen's here, Owen's here. What's a crack, kid? How are you keeping?
I'm keeping good, Brendan. Yourself?
Hey, you were buzzed up for this game, Connor.
You're right, I was buzzing, but even though the result didn't go the way, the boys should be very proud of what they've done this year. Hey, they've done an incredible job.
They have, hey. And Connor, you're a famous man. You're the tallest man in our family.
Aye.
And that you look down on the rest of us.
Yeah.
But Connor, leading up to the game, you have a bit of tie-in with some of these players. You know them better than most.
Well, I know Pater Morgan and Shane O'Donnell for their teachers in my school, so they're.
Yeah, and they'll be there all the time, or are they away training?
Oh, they're there all the time, so they do.
They don't be sneaking off early.
No, they do not.
And listen, they're good lads.
Oh, they're brilliant, hey. They do, like, if any student came up to them, they ask them any questions, fair play to them. They do give advice and stuff, and they be...
And you know what, folks, that's such another side to our games in terms of people being integrated. And I don't know what it is about our footballers. They just seem like they're always the nicest lads. Are they your favourite players as well, Connor?
Aye, they're the favourite players, but my favourite players. But there's one man that was brought into the squad too that's one of my favourite players, Michael Murphy. It's great to have him back.
We'll have to give it up for Michael Murphy, all right? We'll give him a wee cheer. The Murph man. Listen, I heard he wasn't about the bank too long last night, Darky. You know, a tough day for Michael. You know, it was almost as if the stars aligned to get him back in, and gym and the rules and everything seemed to fit, but it didn't happen in the end. But I mean, Michael did, as he does in every match, Darky. He was like battling the bit out, you know. He was still 8 points. I mean, what a game.
Oh, well, he's Michael's the leader of the team, you know, and he came back in. You know, it didn't go our way. You could see that quite early on, but you know, you have to give it to the lads. They were fantastic to see it out and see it through. And it wasn't our day, but you could say they could hold their head up high. And Michael, I mean, what they end up with, 6, 7 points.
Yeah, I think he had 8.
8 points.
Correct?
You know, so
Sorry.
you know, any day you finish an All-Ireland final with 8
I know,
points, you
I
haven't
know,
done too
exactly.
bad, you know.
Don't
So
exactly.
again,
I mean, it
and,
seems
you know,
mad to even say that like you're even thinking about if I couldn't for 8 points. I mean, that's phenomenal.
8 points, you know, and he came back in, and a man at 35, 36 years old in the shape he's got himself in, you know. And you know, the question is probably, is he going to stay on for another year? Was yesterday the ends? I suppose that's up to himself. But you know, he could play on. He's in so good a shape. I think this year, especially, and all the games we've played through Ulster and everything, we're at them all. But I mean, he's been as good this year as ever he's been.
Unreal.
As ever he's been all over the pitch, and he's probably the leader of the squad, isn't he?
Yeah, and Dirk, you look at the genetics of him. You know, when 2022 when he finished up, I was thinking to myself, like, it looked like, all right, the chapter had closed. You know, the game had changed. You know, Rogers and Ulster final, and the way we were beat by Armagh. But for him to come back and be as sharp and athletic, because we were thinking after Galway last year, we needed somebody down the stretch. But I mean, once Michael got himself fit, there was no impact. He was going to still be one of our main men.
Yeah, and I would say in the semi-final last year against Galway, we lost. Jim probably realised we probably needed that more physical presence up front or on around the middle, so we probably went to Michael and asked him to come back. And you know, when Jim's in charge, I suppose it's easy for players to make the decision to commit as well, because you know you're going places. And to be fair, he's got himself in some shape, and he's had an amazing year, you know, an all-star incoming, I'd say.
What a man. I know Kerry Lacey was down there. I was trying to get him in. He's a wee bit shy for some reason. I don't know why, but after Michael, you'd have to say Carl next in terms of what he does. But what do you think? Do you think Michael will stay on? Do you think he'll do another year? I would say you could convince him.
Well, it's entirely up to him, Brendan, but I think he has the body for it, as you've seen this year. I think, my person think, I think Michael Murphy's in the best shape now as he was when he did retire in 2022, but hopefully it'll be good for Donegal if he does stay, but at the end of the day, it would be 36, like, and
No,
it'd be entirely up to him.
And Conor, we're past all the ticket stuff and all the drama of last week, but how did you get sorted? You're well connected here. Your dad, obviously, Niamh Colm Kills, well indoctrinated in the club, and he was flush with tickets last week, right?
Well, to be Brendan, I'll say this. He said, if I'm not getting a ticket, I'm going to wreck the place and I'm going to thumb in the Croke Park.
Well, the biggest man in the family, Darky, there'll be no holding him back. There'll be trouble there. There'll be trouble, surely. But no, it was a great occasion. Your brother Owen's here. He's obviously, he's an entertainer. If we could get a wee bit of music drummed up, he could give us a song. What about you?
I'll be singing none here tonight, sir. Sorry.
Sir, Darky, thanks so much for joining us.
All right, Brendan, enjoy the show. Great show, the DL debate.
Darky, you're a legend. Fair play to you. Our county chair, Mary Coughlan, has joined us here. Mary, thanks so much for coming up and having a wee word with us, as you do. Great to see you. We were down here only a few nights ago. We were all buzzed up and we were ready for action, and unfortunately just come up a bit short in the day, and maybe not the performance we're expecting from our boys.
Look, I know the boys are disappointed. I don't know if this has been live streamed, but any woman like myself sitting beside a book with the shorts like that on them, that would distract my thought process. But anyway,
thanks very much. I'll take it as a compliment.
I'll look at there's a great buzz about town. Listen to them young fellas now, given entertainment, and look at the crowd. You can see all the people that are coming here, and I think that's really going to give a lift to the lads.
Yes.
They are so disappointed, they're devastated, and a lot of them are taking it so personally that they've let us down, and that's not the case. We've had 18 months of good days, fabulous days. We've had the goals, we've had the points. We've had the Anglo-Celt twice, which is, the holy grail for anybody that's from Ulster.
Yep.
And without a doubt, they have entertained us. And when you look at the number of people that are standing in the rain in Ballybofey, like 15,000 people in Ballybofey, and it was lashing on top of us. And that was to show support to the lads, to give them a boost, to give them the view and the perspective that we're here to support them as much as they are there to represent us.
Yes. And but it's just a change in nature of Donegal this last number of years. We were talking about it last week. Yourself coming in, the likes of Sinead in there as well, Breen. Jim coming in, Michael coming in. There's a serious feel-good factor, but also thinking I have to commend you in the county board, because there seems to be much more of a close-knit thing between everybody. There isn't this kind of thing. When I used to play, there was this kind of the county board where maybe it was nearly us against them a wee bit. Are you looking for this? Are you looking for that? The whole thing's changed now. There seems to be much more togetherness from the whole team, and I guess that's proactive then right across the board in terms of clubs and people and engaging and bringing people into the association.
Well, we have to have a strategy in this county. We were up and down, and that's not the way to go. So the strategy is that we deal with our academy, we support all our young people. We give them that opportunity at regional level at 14 and 15. You're moving into 16s, minors, under 20s. Under 20s are there or thereabout, and I would say they're determined to win Ulster and go further if they can this time. We can give out about a few things that went wrong on that day in Derry, and they learn from it, and Tyrone went on to win, but we need to be at that place. We also have a new initiative working with the schools now, and Ulster doesn't want to know about it, and St Coleman's doesn't want to know about it, but we are going to bring the amalgamation teams, and that's on the basis that we have a very sparse population. We're very rural. The schools are not the same as in the north. Like, they have 1,200 kids, boys in one school, but they're feeding off 12 and 13 clubs, whereas we're feeding off 3 here.
I remember Gary McDade was telling me they were going up to play a team. I think it might have been one of the Dungannon team. He counted 22
clubs,
capable clubs that could feed in them, and whereas unions at that time there was 5 potential. So as you said, it doesn't then lead to those guys maybe getting the level of maybe football they need, because as you said, Tyrone and Derry in particular are like football factories almost, but all the counties in North seem to have 1 or 2 maybe big schools that are pulling in clubs, which we find harder to do.
And look, at the Abbey Vocational School has done so well, linking in here with particularly with Four Masters and their underage strategy. So look at the emphasis, and you'll hear Jim tonight, and he said it last night, the emphasis should be on our young people, on the talent that's coming through, that we coach our coaches, that coaching goes into our clubs. But at the end of the day, it's the clubs that are going to support our young people. And I know we're talking about the highest level of football. At the same time, the big thing about the GAA is to support our young people. And I know we're talking about the highest level of football. At the same time, the big thing about the GAA is GAA for all.
Yes.
It's for everybody. Not everybody's going to be a county player. Not everybody is going to have that opportunity to play senior in their club, but everybody should have the opportunity to play. That's the whole philosophy of Go Games, and that's why we want boys and girls to be afforded the opportunity in Donegal to excel if that's what they want to do, but to participate, which is so, so important. I see the chairman of the Four Masters here, and I want to thank them here for all the work that they have done, himself and Charlie Martin and all the lads, in putting this together. These are all volunteers.
Yes.
There are no paid. We're being supported by the local authority and Donegal County Council, which is great, and the civil services. But at the end of the day, these are volunteers, and volunteerism is what is the basis of the GAA.
Yeah, brilliant, Mary. Mary, just before you go, I have to ask you, Mary, you personally, right? I can only imagine what it was like last week between everything. All right, we all know about the tickets, right? But the organisation, are you kind of like, I need a holiday now? Where do you go to cut loose or let the hair down? That nice blonde hair of yours, where do you let it down?
The Tide.
The Tide.
That's
that
where
is
I'll
the
be
place.
going tomorrow morning.
Is
I'm
it?
going down to Denver Beach, and that's where I go.
In for it,
look at my colleagues, all of those, they're absolutely wrecked. The team's wrecked. Those that are supporting them are wrecked. We're all wrecked. We're wrecked, enjoying ourselves, and we're going to enjoy ourselves tonight. We had a big night in Dublin, and it was great to see so many people. And I think the lads were very surprised at the fact that there were so many there to support them.
Yes.
And to give them a lift. And that's why all these people are here now tonight. And like the bunting and the like, it's just been fantastic. And we mustn't forget, 18 months ago, we'd have given our right arm to be in a semi-final, not
Yes.
to mention a final.
Yes.
So that's really, really
It took us
so
a long
important.
time to
It
get
took us a
back,
while.
We can't
but we
forget
have
that,
the
Mary.
time.
I know, see, we're caught in this thing of, God, we nearly won All Ireland, and then I'm thinking, well, we couldn't, like, fourth final, you know, where does it lie? So listen, you just got to be proud that we're right up there and take the learnings.
We're at a level that's competitive. Ulster is seriously competitive, and when you look at it now, you have Down coming. They're coming at us now again. They're lifting their game and they're doing very, very well. Louth has done very well. Meath is back. So look at the elitism of some of the counties, including Kerry, are going to be challenged. Limerick. Who would have thought that the Limerick footballers would be there longer than the Limerick hurlers?
Yes.
Like,
it's great to see.
It's great to see, and it's good to see it. So, look, things have changed. There are challenges out there, yes, but my forte now is to concentrate over the next couple of weeks on looking at our strategic plan, looking what we're going to do in the development of our young people. Carl Lacey has been appointed now. He is going to really, really do a huge amount of work. We're a wee bit behind the curve, but look, we learn. We're going to be there and we're going to manage it.
Brilliant.
And I would say
I
would say that's my daughter.
You get up
telling
there.
me now
This
everybody's
is
leaving
like the
Petticoat.
Santa tracker at Christmas. The Donegal team are very close. Mary's got duties to do. Mary, thanks so much for joining us as ever. Greg McGrory's here now for a couple of words. Donegal Four Masters chairman, Donegal Town chairman. Greg, good man. Thanks for holding on there. Thanks. Round of applause. Mary Collin there. Oh yeah, Greg. You keeping all right?
A bit like Mary, I'm a bit wrecked.
I hear you. We're all a wee bit tired here today, but we'll keep it going, you know, and just proud of the boys. Whole operation going here again for Masters, taking in the team and welcoming them back. It's a big job, but fair play. You're doing a great job here.
Yeah, and you know, for Masters, it's been a privilege to be asked by the county board to host it again, you know, and we decided to go for the pier this year, you know, and it's a big operation we've been working on since the Monday after the Meath game. We had a 6 o'clock meeting in the evening time with Charlie Martin and Thomas McNulty, who's led it for the club, you know.
Yeah.
Met the county board and the county council, and fair play to Mark Sweeney and the county council, who's really helped us out and really rubbed us on and got the plan and got all the specifications done for us, you know.
Yeah, indeed. And we were just talking about Four Masters. Obviously, I was down here during the week and having a laugh. The club is on a serious upward curve at the minute. Where is this magic coming from? Can you give us a few secrets, or is it like the Coca-Cola recipe? Nobody's allowed to talk about it.
Not allowed to say, but like if you look back, the club in 4 or 5 years ago we're in a very bad position. You know, we were one game from Division 4 years ago. And
Jeez, that's mad to think.
Yeah, and we had got Kevin Sinclair in to help us out, and he saved us. He goes up to Division 1, won Division 2 league, secured our senior championship, and it's going well. And obviously underage, led by Rory Donald and Pádraig Harvey, has really driven on. A lot of work gone in, and hopefully we can get them young lads, as Barry said earlier, into the senior team.
Yeah, and I think now obviously there's going to be future county players coming. I mean, you look at there, Kieran, as well. Do you think about some of the clubs that come up from a lower status, say at stages, like St Michael's, like a Glen Swilly, then they produce county players, no other than Big Neil Murphy, Colin McFadden, Toy McCanny, all these boys, Peter Willerow, all these boys coming through. Better be careful, forget somebody now. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've worked the 4 masters. So it's not just about 4 masters. I'm looking at the minors and under 20 players that I'm seeing. I'm like, wow, here's some ballers coming through here, and it's fantastic to see. Coming in no more than seeing Carr's boys, for example, I mean, unreal.
Yeah. We'll look at Termon as well. Sorry, Greg. We'll look at Termon. They played in 3 competitions this year. They won 2, and they got to the 3 finals. That deserves huge credit. And speaking of Termon, the Division 2 final last year was between 4 Masters and Buncrana, and 4 Masters got the Division 1 final last year. And that's another sign of progress, man.
Yeah, great to see. And how long are you doing chairman now, Jager?
This is my first year. I've been assistant chair for 4 years underneath Pádraig Harvey. You know, Pádraig's really built the club up to what it is. And you know, I've been asked to take it on board, and it's a pleasure to take it on board, especially when we see what's coming through. And you know, one thing about our club at the moment, everyone's working together.
Yes.
No split divides. Everyone's working as a unit, as a team, and we're really all after one goal, and that's Dr.
We poached a couple of people on you, the Kelly family.
Unfortunately,
apologies about that.
Yeah, I worked with Marie on the underage teams, and big loss. But look, she's gone back home, and
do you know what? They loved it here, Greg. And they, I was even meeting some people last week. They were saying, "Oh, Grania was at school, and Tom was at the school, and Sarah and we Aaron." And listen, it's one of those things. When they move back, we're glad to take a bullet at units now. Don't get me wrong, but listen, maybe you have enough talent coming through. You'll be happy enough.
We do enough, and I mean, we're focusing big on the ladies' football at the minute as well, and that's
Great.
a massive drive within the club.
Hurling.
Hurling, we won the June Championship last year, and the lads are on schedule to hopefully get a good shot at the intermediate title this year. You know, so we're in a good upward spiral, and look at the big clubs around us to learn off: Kilcar, Glanties, Unions like yourselves.
Yes.
So we've looked at what you're doing. We're trying to put it into our way. Of doing
He's saying the right things, Brenton, isn't he?
Hey, I'll tell you what, isn't it special though? We see hurling happening at the club, you know, because something special about obviously the game. And I same with Unions when you're down there. Like, I always admire the boys so much because it's such a skilled game, and there's so much football going on in the county. But I think it's very important that we have, as you said, a strong ladies game and promote the hurling.
Like, we've 30 lads on the senior team out there, which is brilliant and we're taking lads in from Neavolton and Killybegs and Ballantrae and St Knowles, and that's courage and hurling in the south of the county. And the county board need to help us develop in the south of the county. And ladies football, we have the highest membership this year in the LGFA in the whole county. We're one behind Unions last year. So yeah, look, we're in good shape, and we look at, as you say, GA's for everyone, as Mary said that a while ago, and that's what we're trying to promote within our club.
Yeah, how are you with hurling, Kieran? I can imagine you nifty or we.
There's only one thing I have in common with hurling. I come from the same club as same colours as Tipperary. We'll leave it that one.
Leave it there. Eh? Noreen Doherty said, Noreen, how you keeping? You keeping all right? You coming over for a wee word here? Run over and say hello. Noreen Doherty said in the house, give it up. What a lady in Donegal GA she's been. We're down the last couple of minutes. Noreen, you've seen a lot now in football. What was it like in the build-up? You're probably still getting tortured for tickets and oh my God. But listen, it was a serious couple of weeks build-up again. I mean, great.
Stay indoors, you don't go out.
Close the curtains.
Talking about tickets.
Used to be called cooning, was it? No?
Close the curtains. But no, you've seen so much. When did you start working with Donegal GA? When did you first get involved?
Oh, way back, I suppose, 86. I got involved on the executive first. On the county board, and then county secretary in 91, and I have been there until practically last August.
And you make a great cup of tea.
Lovely cup of tea, yeah.
Because we get so well looked after by Noreen and her sister up in McCool Park, and it's great. You know what, Noreen, but behind the scenes with all the press and all that, there's always a great crack up there, and it's a great place to be in.
Absolutely. But
it helps when Donegal's winning, of course.
But that's what the GA is all about, Brendan, at the end of the day. It's all community and everybody's in it together. We were on Crow Park yesterday, 30,000 plus, but we were all Donegal people,
Yes.
all united.
Yes, great to see. Good to see.
Yeah.
And knowing just the boys coming back now, you've seen so many teams evolve over the time. What's got in now to the preparation, it's just gone, because there used to be parts of the season where pre-championship and the big training. Now it's like well, I know with the split season, but even in these 6 months, knowing it's basically you're semi-professional almost, you know.
Well, big time. I mean, the team's going since the last Sunday in January. They played their first National League game. Now, obviously, they were preparing even before that. So that is 6 months of really very, very intensive work. Now they'll go back to their clubs. They'll only have their fortnight break, maybe 3 weeks. They'll go back and play then at club level, and then just back again to county.
Yes.
You know, a split season, it works. Or
Yes.
does it work at the end up as the county player that's suffering? Or so, but everybody seems to be happy with the split season.
You're just thinking maybe because other sports and TV, obviously the county's the big one, so it's hard to get that balance right. But we're down to the last few seconds here, are we, Joe? Almost good to go. There's a few shout outs here. Dara Meehan from Dunfanny, Sean McGinley, Dunlow, James and Anya Meehan as well. We're just giving them wee shouts out as we wrap up the show. Okay, thanks so much for joining us. Noreen Doherty, round of applause there for them. Thanks, my main man here, Kieran Cannon, for joining us this evening. We just kind of threw this together, folks, to come down here to welcome the lads back. There's big screens. The crowds are building. Listen, the lads are back. They're Ulster champions. They're heroes. They were one game away from the ultimate, but they'll be back next year, folks. So thanks for joining us here. I'll speak to you next week on the DL debate. Thanks so much.
Live, on air, online, and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.